What's up, everybody? File on in.
Did you send it out on Twitter yet? Ah, right there. Boom.
Beautiful.
Let's see how long it takes me to get it out there. Let's see. Can I do it quickly? Nope.
I think you could do it, Chris.
Let's see here. First, I got it. It's not as easy as you make it sound.
Very, very difficult stuff we're doing here at Big Play Reflog.
Just try. I'm just here so I don't get suspended on Twitter.
That's
yeah,
right.
all people. Thank you.
Copy link.
What's up, Mike from the UK? File on in here, everybody. We will get started momentarily. Hope you guys are having a good Memorial Day.
And I am. By thank you. Thank you for asking.
Good.
Boom. Just sent out a tweet. Look at that.
Boom.
Got it on the Twitter machine.
Oh, yeah.
Woo! We are rolling here on a Memorial Day.
That's right. What's up, Jacob? Thanks for tuning in. We're going to get started here in about 10 seconds.
Dave, you never give us a day off. We can't even take Memorial
right.
Day off.
No holidays here.
That's right.
Woo, no bankers' holidays, no government holidays, no holidays for you. Right?
That's right. Fingers crossed.
Never take a day off.
That little baby doesn't cry during the show. So here we go. All right. The Big Play Cleveland Reflux Show is brought to you by ShackNews.com. Shack News is your go-to for gaming news, covers all your gaming content needs. Head over there this week. They're breaking down and reviewing Team Sonic Racing, chatting it up about the new Pokemon movie, who should have done the voiceover for Detective Pikachu, and a throwback look at Street Fighter vs. X-Men, the arcade. They have game guides, gaming interviews, a bunch of awesome original video content. Head over to Shack News and get into the conversation by clicking on that Shack News Twitter profile in our show title. Hit that follow button, because when it comes to gaming news, there's only one site to visit, shacknews.com. Are you guys ready to talk some Tribe?
Not really.
Me either.
Okay, do you need medical attention?
Yeah,
What is wrong?
I don't know. I ain't no goddamn doctor.
Welcome to the Big Play Cleveland Reflog Show. Today is Monday, May 27th, 2019, Memorial Day. I am your host, Big Play Dave, alongside my main man, Mr. Chris McNeil. What's going on?
10-4, or should I say 12-5?
What are you talking
Bad
about?
game today. Bad game today for
Ah,
Cleveland
jeez,
Indians.
that's
12-5.
right. Bree, anything positive to say about the
Ye-
Indians?
I've got a suntan kind of starting. So
There you go. Okay.
yeah. It's not about the Indians, but that's just in general from
Right.
seeing the sun.
Excellent. All right.
What are we doing tonight on the show, Dave?
Yeah, as I'm just fumbling around here. So tonight on the Big Play Reflux Show, we've got
What
power.
happens when you have a newborn, Dave?
Right.
We'll let it slide.
I need some
Right, I'm
sleep.
off the hook,
I need
right?
some sleep. We're getting into some Power Rank Monday. Top 3 best Cleveland or Ohio monuments out there, landmarks. Our guest, Mr. Joe Noga, Cleveland.com, talking some Tribe. Get into some Cleveland headlines, some Would You Rathers, and our bold predictions for the week. Let's kick it off with some Power Rank Monday.
It's time for Power Rank Monday.
Power Rank Monday. So Chris brought this up on Twitter. Parma has a new sign.
Pretty special. It was a big weekend for Parma. Big unveiling of the new Script Parma sign. How about that, Dave?
Now, Chris, real quickly,
Big time.
you willed something into existence with this Parma sign. What the hell did you do to Parma?
Well, Parma's kind of the birthplace of tacky lawn ornaments. So as soon as they said they were going to unveil this thing, I thought within an hour there would be like pink flamingos and, those reflective balls and, the lady leaning over into her garden to garden. I figured all of those things would be in there within an hour. And I was wrong, Dave. It did not take an hour. Before the unveiling, which took place on Saturday morning, there were already a ton of pink flamingos all around that sign. People were putting them out there overnight. I am so proud of the town of Parma. Well done, Parma. By the time they did the unveiling, these pink flamingos were all over the place. There were pictures from city council members who were actually very pleased with all of the pink flamingos that were out there. It showed the passion of the local residents, and I think that's a good story. Ended up being really neat, and well done. Embrace it, Parma. You have, and I just love it.
Nice. We got some hot takes coming in the comments section. Sean,
Yeah, we do.
Mike, a bunch of guys talking Cleveland hot takes. So we will get to those in a little bit. But let's kick this off I will kick it off with my number 3. I'm going Slimans. Have you guys been to Slimans before?
Oh, yes.
I
Oh,
have not.
yes. Oh, God. You got to get over there. My God. It's unbelievable. Corned beef. Oh,
That's
the
right.
sandwiches are to die for.
Bree, so President George W. Bush has been there, Rachel Ray, of course, LeBron James. They've all graced their presence at Slimans. Staple in Cleveland, Ohio. Best Reuben probably in the entire state.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to check it out. They've expanded a little bit.
I
think they
co-sign on that, Bree. You got to get out there.
I think they have a food.
Okay.
I think they have a food truck now too. So they're doing pretty well. Get to Slimans if you haven't been there. My number 2. I'm going with the Cleveland Cliffs Barge. Have you guys seen this? Have you been to the Rock Hall?
I have been to Rock Hall, yes.
You walk down to the water, and there's this Cleveland Cliffs barge that's been sitting there right outside the Rock Hall for,
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how,
Yeah,
like
okay.
forever. I have no idea why it's there, why they just have it sit there. I don't know if you can do tours on it or what, but every time I walk down there, Cleveland Cliff Barge, that makes my number 2. Not the Rock Hall, by the way. I've only been there for a work event once, and I've lived in Cleveland my whole life.
The architect just died.
Did he really? Oh,
I.M. Pei died last week, and he was the architect who designed the Rock Hall, which looks a lot like the Louvre in Paris because he also designed that. He had just a fantastic life. He actually hated the design for the Rock Hall by the time it was put together, but that wasn't uncommon for him. And most of the stuff that he designed, he ended up hating in the end, and the Rock Hall was one of them. So there you go. Dropping
we
some
go.
knowledge here.
that's right. And my number 1, I am going with the West Side Market.
Ooh.
Another place, if you've never been there, if you like buying pig's feet or any weird meat that you might want to barbecue up
weird
Memorial Day,
Yeah, that's the reason.
this is the place to go. But have you guys been over there, West 25th area, over the last decade? Like, it's completely different. It's incredible. Stop at the West Side Market. Hit up the bars over there. A bunch of really cool new bars. So when I think Cleveland, West Side Market definitely makes the top of the list. Juan on Facebook says the Pit. Can't believe I forgot about some brownies. Shoot. That would have been a good one. Bree.
No guardians of traffic. You don't have those from the bridge. You don't have the free stamp.
Dude,
I'm very
it's-
upset that both of those did not make your list.
It's overplayed.
Both are.
I like it. But once they put it next to the casino where LeBron James used to be, they they put it 500 feet from where it actually is. This picture, and I was
You
like,
could
that's
just look
really
over. Just
that's
look
the
to the
best you
left.
could come up with. Come on, man. Come on. All right.
Great point, actually, Dave.
That's rough. Chris, what do you got?
All right, so I'm not going to go as far as up to Cleveland. I'm going to stay in Licking County. So my number 3 is the Longaburger Basket.
Oh boy.
What is
For
this?
those of you For those of you who don't know, it's the old headquarters of old Longaberger Basket Company, which is no longer in existence thanks to the siblings of Dave Longaberger, who founded it, who ran it into the ground. And now what's left of it is this gorgeous basket that's out there on 16, just outside of Granville in Newark. And I've always said it's my dream, Dave, that someday I'm going to buy this thing because it's constantly up for sale. People buy it and then it ends up back for sale again. I think eventually the city's going to buy it, but I'm going to try and snatch it up before then. But the interesting thing about Longaberger, one of the people who ran it into the ground was Tammy Longaberger, and she's got a connection to the Cleveland Browns. Do either of you know what that connection is?
I do not.
No idea.
So Tammy Longaberger was once dating for quite a long time one Bernie Kosar. Bernie Kosar.
Oh, how do I not know this?
Of one Tammy Longaberger. And I once met Bernie Kosar at a gas station right up there, not too far from the basket where he was buying gas. He was actually buying gas with a credit card from Tammy Longaberger. So there you go. There's a juicy story from me. TMZ.
That is juicy.
Yeah.
Wait, so this is a building or
Sign him up.
a basket?
It's a building. Yeah. It's
Looks like
an
a
actual basket. It looks just like a basket. It was the headquarters of Longaberger. Yes, and I drive by it all the time.
Very interesting.
So someday it's going to be mine. Oh, yes, it will be mine. Number 2.
Big play headquarters.
That's right. Buckeye Lake. I was just out there today. Have you kids been to Buckeye Lake before?
I have not.
Oh, man, this is a gem right here in Licking County. If you want to see a spot in Central Ohio, wishes it was in a tropical paradise almost as much as the patrons themselves wish this was 1976. This is the place for you, Buckeye Lake. I was out there today at Papa Boo's, which is an establishment right there on the lake. It's actually expanded. They had a cover band out there today playing all kinds of Skinnerd and basically everything that you might expect a band like this to play for a bunch of 60 to 70-year-old bikers and their women, and it's just quite a scene out there. So you have a lot of bridal parties and bachelorette parties and that sort of thing out there too. So it's quite a mix and just makes for great people watching it. An absolutely fantastic afternoon for my and it kicked off my great McNeil White Trash summer of 2019 that we're going to be coming back to all summer long.
You are off to a good start.
Oh, you are. That's a great way to kick it off. Number 1. Everybody's got to see this. The Granville High School Hall of Fame.
Everybody's got to see this.
Hall of Fame. If you live in Ohio and haven't been there, you've got to get there. So it's situated in the cafeteria of the Granville High School. You can follow along the exploits of the 1996 Granville golf team, led by their captain, yours truly, as we took home the school's, Granville High School's, first ever state title back in 1996. Note, if you are going to go, it's not open Sundays. Most of the time, it's not open Saturdays, and it's going to be closed for the next 2.5 months as school's going to be out for summer session. But check it out, the Granville High School Hall of Fame.
Bree,
I can't even believe that's on your list.
Please save us.
Number 1, Bree. Number 1. You can go and see
Number
my mug there at the Granville High School Hall of Fame.
He's self-absorbed Chris McNeil, everybody.
That's right. What do you got, Bree? What do you got that's better? What's your top 3?
All right, number 3, the school that I hailed from. That would be The Ohio State University, otherwise known as, well, I'm going to just go for the shoe, because how could you not love the shoe? If you haven't experienced an Ohio State football game, I highly suggest that you experience one. My first time ever going was when I was in college, and it was an experience I don't think I would ever miss again. So you guys, I'm assuming, have been to a game before. Chris, I know you have. Dave, what about you?
I sure have. I actually have tickets to the Buckeyes Red Hawks game, Chris, coming up.
That's going to be a
fall.
battle right there. Battle Royale.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm taking the points. And
don't look back.
That's right.
What do you got at number 2, Bree?
You? I'm going to get a little sappy here. Home. Moved back home 4.5 years ago, and if you guys don't live near home, then you probably know the feeling of just missing your family, your friends, the places that you grew up. Now I get to take my children to those same places, and it's whatever address you live in.
Wow.
Very
Kinda
sentimental.
Yeah,
Kind of snappy.
Bree's
Well done.
house is a landmark. I like it.
it is.
Hey, so everybody's invited to Bree's house.
That's right.
He's going to show
Right.
you around, our local community.
That's right.
That's right.
And number one.
Number 1, Geneva on the Lake. So this is also a family tradition. We owned a cabin there back when I was younger, and going to the lake was pretty much eating hot dogs at Eddie's Grill, swimming in the 60-degree Lake Erie Lake. And I don't know if you guys have been there, but there are tons of arcades. And we took the kids there last year and got into a pretty heated arcade game battle with my husband. We ended up, I think, getting over like 700 tickets, taking one of those big stuffed animals home. So still enjoy going to Geneva on the Lake. Have you guys been?
I have not.
No?
I have. I played a golf course up there when I was in high school. I don't remember what it was, but I remember it's way the hell up there. It's a lot farther up there than what you think. Once you get driving, it's like, wow, this is a ways to get there. But well worth it, I assure you. Well worth that trip.
Nice little vacation getaway.
All right, some good places to go this summer, except for the Granville Hall of Fame, which will be closed, and probably not Bree's house.
In my house.
And Longaberger's probably closed too, because I'm working on buying it. I got to close on it first.
That's right. Put the contract together.
Joe says he's got monuments for us.
What's that?
I said, Joe, our guest, says he's got monuments for us. So I was apologizing because we ran a little bit late. He says, no problem. I've got some monuments for y'all. So he's going to drop his list, I'm sure.
Probably beat mine.
Chris, talk about a good transition there, because on the line, we have, as I bring him on the line here, Mr. Joe Noga of Cleveland.com, sports reporter. Joe, welcome to the Big Play Cleveland Reflux Show. How we doing, my man?
I'm doing great, guys. And as I'm watching my face pop up on the screen behind you, that could not be more disconcerting. That is a giant head right behind McNeil. That is unbelievable.
Joe, we put you on the big screen,
wow.
man. We put you on the big screen in the studio. We had to do it.
Oh,
throw you off
Lord.
your game a little bit.
That really, I'm shook. It's really bad. And I was having a great time following along, listening to you guys talk about the monuments. You guys, you skipped the Perry Monument out west out by the lakes. It's one of my favorites.
Commodore Perry?
Yeah, the Perry War Memorial. It's memorializes one of the battles of I think the War of 1812. I'm not sure. But my wife and I went up there for an anniversary, and you could see Canada, you could see everything up there. It's great.
Oh.
It's one of my favorites.
Very cool.
But
check that out.
But my favorite monument in Ohio, right in Ohio City, you've got the John Heisman birthplace. You guys ever been by that marker?
I've not.
not.
No.
John Heisman, Heisman Trophy, was born right in Ohio City. It's sort of hidden in between all these, Century homes, right around the block from where I went to high school. And when we were freshmen, they took us on like this walking tour of the neighborhood, and you just out of nowhere, you turn the corner and you're standing next to the house where John Heisman was born.
No kidding.
Wow.
I didn't even know he was from here.
The namesake of the trophy that Johnny Manziel has.
Oh, God.
That's the way I think of him.
And Lamar Jackson. Hey, Joe, speaking of bad, are the Indians in trouble?
Anybody who watched the game this afternoon, it's going to be hard to convince them otherwise. Jeffrey Rodriguez started out, looked gangbusters, man. He was mowing through the Boston lineup, and then that third time through is when he started to struggle, and when he got runners on base and had to pitch out of the stretch. You're seeing a guy who in his first few outings might have given you some hope that he could be a piece of the rotation in the future, but it looks like he's more one of those big arms maybe coming out of the bullpen as a piece in the future.
Yeah, and so you take the Twitter pulse of the Tribe right now, and obviously I think fans are becoming kind of angry at Paul Dolan over the last few months, more so over the last couple of days. Local media, national media all had the Indians with this 3 to 4 year window for a World Series run, and it's kind of just kind of disappeared on us. Is it fair to pin that on Paul Dolan, or is it more of a combination of, these players just aren't really living up to expectations?
Well, I think it's definitely on some of the players who are not performing to the level that we would expect them. Namely, Jose Ramirez is the obvious one. But as far as Paul Dolan goes, he's hamstrung by the empty seats that you see at the ballpark and the economy of Northeast Ohio, where it's a small market team, and he doesn't make any excuses for that. He's not Arthur Blank, who owns the Atlanta Falcons, who can just sign a check with Home Depot money and bring in free agents at will. This is an organization that has to cultivate its talent from within, because they're not bringing in and adding payroll. It's not going to happen. They cut payroll this year, and they're down to about $119 million this season. They just got whooped by Tampa Bay, which has a $60 million payroll. So the money that's being spent right now isn't necessarily being allotted in places where it can help. It's tied up in, Jason Kipnis, who's starting to come around, but he has struggled over the last two seasons, and
he's our cleanup hitter now. He's our cleanup hitter now, right?
He's our cleanup hitter who's bunted in each of the last two games.
That's what you look for.
Your number 4 hitter.
Right?
Yeah. It's been really frustrating to watch them jettison these veteran players or not bring them back, and they could have had Michael Brantley for what he's making in Houston. That's the one that really sort of killed them and started the offseason tumbling towards this roster of Frankie Lindor and who else.
Did we ever get a good reasoning why we didn't keep Michael Brantley? Because, looking at the money, he obviously should have stuck with this team. It didn't make any sense to me.
I think they were going to make him the qualifying offer just to see if they could get, the draft picks in return.
Right.
They wound up not making him the qualifying offer because they were afraid he was going to sign it and say yes. He would have signed it. It would have been $17.5 million, and he would have signed it, and that would have put them way over what they wanted to spend this year.
And what has these savings really done for us? Like what will be the payoff from all of this?
Well, the way that they're trying to spin things right now, and you heard Tito mention it. We heard him pregame yesterday, and he said it again pregame today in Boston, is that, he's going to give these young guys, the Oscar Mercados, the Jordan Luplos, Jake Bowers, they're going to get more of a look. They have to see if they can win with these guys. And you saw today, Oscar Mercado, he had 2 hits, a couple of stolen bases, looked really good at the plate, but then in the field, it was a disaster. It's the first time he's playing in Fenway Park, and he's a rookie. He's 24 years old, and crazy things happen in Fenway. But if you're asking the question, can we win with these young guys? It's going to be a lot of 12-5 games and winning a couple of 4-3 games if you can.
So, Joe, during the offseason, there were rumors that the team is exploring trading maybe one of our starting pitchers. As this season kind of winds on, is that still a realistic possibility? Do you see that happening?
I think it's a very realistic possibility that you could at least see Trevor Bauer move, before the All-Star break. I think that could happen. If you really want to get dark and if you really want to get scary, we can talk about the Francisco Lindor clock, because that clock is ticking.
Let's wait till next year at least.
We don't want to ruin the entire tone of the show from here on out in talking about how Francisco Lindor, basically after that, after the Athletics story, the interview with Paul Dolan early in the year where they said enjoy him. Well, I personally think that was a turning point for this team. The players saw that the roster and the lineup isn't going to be sustainable and the future is going to be, Francisco Lindor somewhere else. I think that has played a part in their performance this year.
So, Joe, I mean, you mentioned we're probably going to trade one of these starting pitchers. What are we trading for? Are we trading for bats? Or do you think we're trading for the rebuild?
I think it's going to be, knowing Antonetti, knowing Chernoff, it's going to be something that looks like maybe the faster side of a rebuild, not like a full tear down and come back in like 3-4 years. We're talking they're going to try and turn it around really quickly, because what this organization does still have is a lot of talented starting pitching depth, and they've got, Carrasco's locked up for a couple more years with that extension that he signed in the offseason. What you're going to be paying Kluber. You've got that contract certainty with Kluber, and he comes back. Maybe he's not your number one. Maybe Bieber's your number one, and Clevenger's your number two. But a rotation that's got Bieber, Clevenger, and Kluber and Carrasco is still pretty formidable and can get you, through at least the AL Central in the next 1 or 2 seasons. It's going to be replacing that bat when you eventually move Lindor, and I think that happens. If it doesn't happen this season, it happens in the off season.
So let's talk about the AL Central right now. The Indians are 10.5 games back of the Twins. Do you think the Twins are going to come back to earth, or is this something where they're going to run away and hide at some point this season from the Indians?
I think the Twins will come back a little bit. I think at 11 games behind them right now, I don't think the Indians are going to be able to catch them, particularly with an offense that can't explode and win games and go on a week to 10 days where they just win 8 games out of 10 or whatever. I think Minnesota's starting pitching is probably their weakest area, and that they will add pieces either before the trade deadline. And remember, there's only one trade deadline this year, so they've got to make some moves in a hurry. Or if they, Dallas Keuchel's still out there with the possibility of signing, somewhere. I think they definitely add an arm or two, and possibly try to, bolster their bullpen a little bit. This is a team that hit 100 home runs in their first 50 games. I think their offense is going pretty good. So not necessarily gonna look to add a bat there.
We're chatting with Joe Noga. Go give him a follow on Twitter at Joe Noga, CLE, sports reporter for Cleveland.com. Joe, we're getting a bunch of comments here in the comments section about Jose Ramirez. Here's one from Sean. Trade Jose, replenish the farm system. Oh man, how is it gotten this bad?
Ooh. Could you imagine a year ago today, Jose Ramirez had 15 home runs. Could you imagine somebody saying trade Jose Ramirez with the contract that he's on right now?
Unbelievable.
Where last year at this time, he was probably making a quarter or a third of what he could make as a free agent based on his performance last year. And the way he's dropped off since then, trade Jose Ramirez. This guy wants you want to trade Jose Ramirez.
But seriously, what's going on with Jose Ramirez? Like, it doesn't make any sense. He's gone from like legitimate all-star status to not a very good player right now. Like, what is going on with this guy?
And it's not just at the plate. Defensively, he's a train wreck too.
Yeah.
I've not seen a player fall apart this hard and this bad in years of watching. Just following Major League Baseball. It's hard to explain. I don't see anything, particularly with his swing. You're hearing a lot from Ty Van Berkeley and from Terry Francona about, eventually the numbers will catch up and he's the same hitter and he'll be all right. But Tito sat him today. He got a day off for the first time all season today. So there's something there. For as confident as Tito has sounded about Jose so far this year, today's the first time we actually saw him say, hey, you need a break. Let's get somebody else in there. I can't see anything different with his swing. He's seeing a hell of a lot more curveballs and off-speed pitches than he was last year. Is the guy who terrorized fastballs. You tried to sneak one by him, and he'd rip it out of the park. It's unexplainable what has happened to him.
So what is it like covering a team like this, especially one that seems to be going the wrong way? And my whole motto these last couple of months have been, there's a lot of baseball left to play. What do you think? How do you think it's going to play out?
Full disclosure, Joe, she's also one of the tribe's social cheerleaders out there.
Had to get that plug in.
That's right. So she's always going to be biased. So, yeah, what is it like covering the team like this?
You know, honestly, we have a lot of fun covering the team on a day-to-day basis. There's all sorts of stuff that, you know, goes on behind the scenes that, you know, you can't wait to get into the clubhouse to see. But yeah, certain areas you walk on eggshells about. I mean, Trevor Bauer is this enigma. He's fun to cover, gives you, you know, good stuff to write about, but it's exasperating sometimes trying to decode the mixed messages you get out of him in post-game interviews. You know, he'll strike out 7 guys and win a game and come off and say he sucks, and then he'll give up 4 runs and lose a game and talk about how he thought he pitched really well that day. So it's really kind of confusing and hard to follow there. And then on the other side of the room, you've got Jose Ramirez, who is mired in this horrific slump and yet still walks around as he should. You know, a guy puffs out his chest and walks with that strut, and he's as confident as any guy in the world. And, you know, you walk on eggshells around Corey Kluber sometimes, but he's still a really nice guy and good to get in touch with, you know, good to talk to. I think one of the best guys to talk to in the whole clubhouse has been Mike Clevenger. That's why it sucks that he's been hurt for most of the season, because he's a great quote, and you never know. You might be talking about the planets in the solar system with Clevenger just out of nowhere. It's fun, but yeah, I you know, I've been doing this for the last couple of seasons where the expectations have been high and they've been winning and it's been pretty easy. It's going to be curious to see what happens if this thing goes south, and not only do we get a bunch more of these young players like the Mercados and, you know, Greg Allen sticking around. Greg Allen's a great guy to talk to as well. Just throw that out there. But, you know, it could be a different looking team in a matter of weeks here. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
How about Tito? What's it like covering Tito now that he's run into some problems here? Certainly, he's a well-seasoned manager. He's seen all the ups and downs in baseball. But what is his tact with the team right now? What are you seeing out of Tito covering him on a day-in, day-out basis?
I'll tell you, he's fascinating to sit there and watch. I learned stuff about baseball just by being in the room with him. So it's kind of hard to see outside media, not the guys who are there every game and the beat writers who know how to get what they need on a daily basis out of him in terms of responses. But when, you know, the TV folks show up, you know, once a homestand and they start firing off questions about, are you frustrated and how do you get through this? And, you know, what do you tell the team? And, you know, Tito takes it in stride and gives them a good response, but you can see it. He wears every loss. He really does. You talk about a guy who, you know, really feels it for the team and for the city, and he hears what everybody's saying and he knows. So it's just tough because he's really just hamstrung by the way the front office has set up this roster, by the constraints put on him by ownership. He'll never say that, but it's obvious.
So realistically now, last question, as we sit here, Memorial Day 2019, Joe, how do you think this thing's going to play out this season for the Cleveland Indians?
I think the Indians will
win the World Series. Come on.
There you go.
Boom. Walk off, drop a bomb. There you go.
I'm not jumping in the lake. Folks from my media outlet don't do well in making season-ending predictions about the Indians. historically.
Touché.
So I am reticent to give my 2 cents on that, but I think they're going to struggle. They're going to be up and down. You might see them get hot if they can, find the magic formula, find a bat in the middle of the lineup, win a couple of games. You're going to see Clevenger come back. He's ready to go right now. I think Mike Clevenger wants to come out and pitch 9 innings tomorrow. But that's going to be Zach Plesac, and that's another. We're getting to see a glimpse of the future, and Tito actually had to sound excited about that. So, I don't know. I think I think they will miss the playoffs just by judging, the way it's going right now. I just don't see this offense giving them enough to win games and get into the playoffs.
Now, are you going to get any blowback from Bauer for saying that now?
Saying what? Bauer doesn't even know my name. Are you kidding me? That guy.
We'll just say Hoynesy said it. We'll tell him Hoynesy said it. That'll get him.
He knows Hoynesy's name. That's for sure. But no, Bauer walks past me in the clubhouse like I'm not even there. It's not a word. You got to understand. He after all of his back and forth with the media and about getting all blown out about accuracy and this kind of stuff, he records every interview that we do in the locker room now. So every time you just want to ask him a question about, his last start or a trend in baseball or anything like that, he has to set up a tripod with his phone to record it.
So he literally sets up a tripod. So he's like, wait for it. And he goes into his locker, pulls out a tripod, pulls it out, puts it together. I could just picture this in my mind, and it's glorious to see you just waiting. And you've got deadlines and everything else, I'm sure. And you're just waiting on this pitcher to put together his tripod and put his phone on it.
I feel like it's really a missed opportunity that he's not using a drone.
Yeah, or a GoPro.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, well, they don't let him fly the drone in the clubhouse. I'm sure he's tried, but no, and God love him. I understand why he does it, because he wants to be able to come back with the receipts and say, no, this is exactly what I said when you misquoted me in this story. But believe me, none of us want to misquote him anymore about anything. Everything he says is going to be taken at face value, word for word, based on this. And it's turned off a lot of reporters. A lot of guys won't go over and ask him questions now. And he said, oh, does this, make me seem inaccessible? And when we said, yeah, he goes, that's exactly what I wanted. Yeah. So, hey, he's living in Trevor's world. That's great. But again, I personally, I find him fascinating, and I would love to just hang out and BS with him away from the ballpark. I talk about Game of Thrones and Star Wars and all that good stuff.
Oh, we were supposed to be Game of Thrones free. Why did you bring that up, Joe? I was just remarking at the top of the show, we're not going to do any Game of Thrones. You had to throw that in. You just ruined the whole thing for me.
I love it, Joe. I love it.
So this is where I drop the mic and walk off? Is that it?
On a Game of Thrones. Joe, awesome stuff.
I fly away like a dragon. Is that? Yeah. Okay.
That's right. That's right. Joe, where can all the good people find all your great work, man?
Cleveland.com, Cleveland.com/tribe. Follow me again on Twitter. All the content is there. Also, hey, if you're following Hoynesy and you want some inside info, the project text is a great way to do it. Follow Hoynesy. There's links on all this stuff to subscribe for Project Text. You get a couple of text messages. You can go back and forth with him. I got a couple of great stories about Hoynesy, but that'll be for the next time we get together. He's another fascinating guy that you definitely want to know more about.
Love it. Hopefully it's on a winning streak.
We're have to have him back on.
That's right, Joe. Great stuff. We appreciate the time.
Thanks, guys.
All right, great stuff from Joe Noga. Go give him a follow at Joe Noga CLE. Good stuff, man. That was a great interview.
It was, and he's great. He's very candid, with the players and really gives you some insights, some things that you may not otherwise hear. So I always enjoy talking to Joe.
Good stuff. It is time to break down some more positive news than our Cleveland Indians. Let's get in some Cleveland headlines. Let's talk some Brownies. Cleveland has been awarded the opportunity to host the 2021 NFL Draft. So NFL made the announcement last Wednesday. Kind of ironic that the draft was considered the Browns' Super Bowl for pretty much all of us for so many years, and now the Browns are legitimate contenders on paper heading into this season. Cleveland gets to host it. Wild, wild world we live in. Browns, obviously.
And we get to draft 32nd in it.
That's right.
Mark it down. Mark it down.
Yes.
Mark the tape right there.
2 years in a row. 2 years in a row. Dude, City of Cleveland's been on a hot streak lately. So Cleveland's going to host the MLB All-Star Game this summer. First round of March Madness in 2020. And then we got the NFL Draft in 2021. And then the NBA All-Star Game in 2022. Not bad. If you guys could go to one of those events, which one would you pick?
I'd go to the draft. That's such a unique thing that now they've started to move around, and Nashville looked like just a blast. So if I had a chance to go to the draft, I would definitely go there.
Yeah, I think the only thing holding me back, it could probably be snowing when the draft is taking place, snowing Cleveland and the weather.
That would be great.
That is true.
Awesome.
That is true. I would expect that. I don't know if they've announced it yet, but I would expect that. I would think the first round's going to be in Canton. They've put $750 million into that facility down there over the last couple of years. So
wow.
I have a feeling that Canton's going to get day one or primetime night one, but I think it'll come back to Cleveland after that. So
it looked like, for years, it just looked like with the football and the building there in Canton, it was basically just an orange squeezer. And now it is just blown up. It is huge. That stadium, all the improvements they've made there. I mean, it is quite a complex that they've got. I think a hotel's going in there now too.
Yeah, I heard a water park or something too.
Yeah, they're really blowing it up.
That's actually in Parma.
Sense. Parma again, yes.
Just kidding, Parma people. Let's keep it going with the Brownies. Gerald McCoy still mulling that decision after his meeting with the Browns this week. I don't think there's been any breaking news. Haven't heard anything. But you've probably heard by now, McCoy was released by the Buccaneers last week. Shortly after, it was reported that McCoy only wanted to play for a winner. So naturally, his first meeting was with the Cleveland Browns.
Clearly,
wow. I love the new world, my man. Embrace it. Embrace
so weird.
The new normal.
It's so weird. If Gerald McCoy was to join the Browns this season, it's going to give them potentially 4 Pro Bowl linemen on the roster, all Pro Bowlers from seasons past. If you're Gerald McCoy, Chris, are you signing in Cleveland?
Oh, absolutely. If I'm anybody who's a free agent, I'm coming to Cleveland right now. I mean, that line, holy crap, man.
But I mean, think about that.
Ogunjobi,
yeah, we've got we're set.
Oh,
I mean, we don't need him. Obviously, we want to have him here in Cleveland, but I don't know if you're McCoy. Do you look at that roster? Do you get nervous that you're gonna be splitting snaps with a bunch of people, or do you think, I could beat these guys out?
The defensive line has a lot of subbing. So you're going to find your way in there. And certainly a Pro Bowler is going to find his way in there. And you also have injuries. And we hate to bring up the I word and injuries with this team where we think we're so set. So that can happen at any time. So heck yeah, I jump onto a winner and just assume that my talent, and these guys have all got big egos. He's got to assume that his talent is going to make him a starter from day one anyway. So that's the way I would look at it. And getting your talent matched up with a team that has equal talent, it was just a match made in heaven, I think.
Bree, did you ever think that the Browns would be a top-tier elite destination for free agents?
What a time to be alive, Dave. I tweeted about this earlier in the week that we used to be a destination for free agents when they wanted to get a large paycheck because we usually had the cap space to pay them.
Dwayne Bowe,
but
Kenny
now
Britt.
They want to come here to win, which is We haven't done anything. We haven't won a game, and they think that we're going to be doing all this winning, which I hope that we are.
16-0.
But, man,
16-0.
Yeah, you
shoot me
brought
into
him
the
up.
sun.
Dwayne Bowe actually retired too. I assume
saw
you've got
that.
him coming up as one of these major headlines, but Cleveland legend Dwayne Bowe did retire last
jeez.
week.
I was actually surprised he didn't sign a one-day contract with the Browns to retire here.
No, I
Very,
know.
very strange stuff.
What did he get? Six
Legend.
catches, 7 catches.
That seems high, Chris. Joe Thomas has called for the Browns' defensive line
this.
to have a nickname with or without Gerald McCoy. The Browns obviously look stacked at the defensive line position. So good, in fact, that future Hall of Famer Joe Thomas, Cleveland legend, is calling for them to be given a nickname. If there's one thing I know about Cleveland fans, they love nicknames. So Joe Thomas listed 4 finalists, all from the fans. Here's the submissions. Number 1, the Lakefront.
Not
Number 2, the Four Dorsemen of the Sackpocalypse.
Thumbs down.
That's good. That's good. I
No.
mean, you lose
I
some
like
points on
that
brevity
one
there,
too,
but
right?
Too much.
I
Too
really
much.
like it, but you lose some points on brevity.
It's a lot to put on a t-shirt. Number 3,
Sure.
Junkyard Dogs. And number 4, the
Yes.
Factory of Sackness.
That's the one. That's the one. And it's officially, I did notice on Twitter, it has been signed off on by Mike Polk himself. So
I like the
who is the
Junkyard
creator
Dog.
of the Factory of Sadness.
33U on Twitter says the 2019 Indians are the Dwayne Bowe of baseball.
Pretty good tweet.
Oh, wow. Our producer Nick, he said his submission was Bone Thugs in Harmony. That was not selected. Sorry.
Love that.
Sorry, buddy. Sorry. Which nickname do you like the most? Factory of Sackness?
Factory of Sackness.
Is that it?
No doubt.
Junkyard Dogs for me.
Junkyard Dogs. I'm actually going to
Yeah.
go with,
Dog
what was
pound.
it? I like the Four Dorsemen of the Sackpocalypse.
Oh, you would.
It rolls off
Sounds
the
like a Game
tongue.
of Thrones.
Rolls off the tongue. After a few brews, those guys in the dog pound are just going to be able to say that no problem.
That's
Those
right.
are my boys. Yeah.
Yes, replace Here We Go Brownies with that. We'll see how that goes.
We'll get the whole stadium in unison now.
All right, real quickly, we're going back to baseball. So Terry Francona got tossed from Saturday's Indians game. One of the
About time.
I watched the Indians for probably 10 minutes over the last 3 weeks, and this was the moment I watched. The ejection was the first for Tito since 2016. Many fans were hoping this was going to spark this team. In fact, it did not. The Tribe now 11 games back, I think Joe told us, from the Twins for first place in the AL Central. As bad as they've looked, they're only about 1.5, 2.5 games out of that second wild card spot. You know, it's tough keeping the negativity rolling week in and week out with this team. So we're going to do a new segment here real quick called Try to Say Something Nice About the Indians. Okay, so I want you guys to think about it in the comments. If you guys want to say something nice about the Indians, we'd like to read those as well. Chris, say something nice about the Indians.
Well, one of the things I did on Saturday while Tito was busy getting tossed from that ball game is I went and saw the future Indians, and that's the Columbus Clippers, play here in Columbus. And it was Star Wars night, which was a lot of fun. But I got to see some of the talent that will be coming up here. And I think they hung either 15 or 16 runs on the Indianapolis Indians. So they looked really good, a lot of offensive firepower. Our man, who we saw up here with the big club and did not do a thing when he was up here other than strike out a lot and not hit the ball, was Eric Stamets. And Stamets.
Can't believe it.
And he had a grand slam in the game that I saw. So
Wow.
a lot of hitting going on. Bobby Bradley continues to look good. We've got some talent down there. Max Moroff. You got some guys in Columbus right now who could probably make an impact. You know, if we think that we're a team, though, that's going to be a playoff team and go deep, you know, I don't know that you want to bring young guys up, but it sounds like from talking to Joe that Tito may be interested in doing that. So we do have something in the pool there. So that does give me a little bit of encouragement. I'm really grasping at straws at this point, talking Columbus Clippers baseball.
Say something nice about the Indians. Well, the Columbus Clippers look pretty good.
Right. I'm not even going to talk about the
Stretching.
Indians. I really
Bree,
do.
say something nice about the Indians.
Yeah, I don't know if this is nice, actually.
Oh.
And this is pretty out of character for me, given my status with the team.
Uh-oh. I'm going to tweet at the Indians.
That's
whatever you
right.
say.
Careful
It's fine.
now.
They've ghosted me. It's fine.
Ooh.
So
Let them have it, Bree.
I hate tweet. So what I will say is that given the rate that we're at right now, we might not be playing past September, so I don't have to worry about missing any Browns games on Sundays.
That's not nice at all.
Oh,
I know.
gee.
I'm sorry. It's kind
That's
of nice.
mean.
I don't have to split
You're
my
supposed to be the
fandom.
positive one on this show. Come
I
on.
know, but after that 5-run 5th inning today, I turned him off.
It's exhausting.
Wow,
yeah.
we can't even
Yeah.
say
What are you gonna do?
not even one nice thing. Chris brings up the Columbus Clippers. Bree brings up the Browns. I will say at least we are not the Orioles or the Royals, who have
There you go.
17
Looking down on other teams. That's
and
another one of those
18
phases
wins,
that
right?
you go through.
At least we're
There you
not
go.
Detroit. Yeah. Yeah, that's really all I can say about the Indians. Oh well. We tried. We tried to say something
We
nice.
did.
Let's move on. Time for a few would you rathers. All right. I will kick it off to Mr. McNeil. Because you brought this up earlier. So, assuming the Browns are going to be picking late in the first round, 32nd, in the 2021 draft, would you rather attend the draft live in Cleveland or watch it from home?
Oh, come on. This is a once-in-a-lifetime type of event. I'd like to watch it live there in Cleveland with all my other fans. Yeah.
I'm with you. I am with you. We'll have to get some media credentials to that.
There we go. We can pull that, I'm sure.
Yeah,
We
radio.
got the
We
run.
can
swagger.
watch it from Longaberger office.
That's
AKA our
right. That's
headquarters.
right. That's right.
Oh,
From
God.
my new satellite office.
That's right. That's right.
All right, Bree. Would you rather be able to throw a 100-mile-per-hour fastball or be able to smash 500-foot home runs?
Throw a 100-mile-per-hour fastball.
Oh, come on. I always thought chicks dig the long ball. You're just showing that's not true, huh?
We do, but I feel like throwing multiple 100-mile-per-hour fastballs is pretty impressive.
I
Wow,
agree.
There you go. There you go.
I like it.
All right, Dave, got one for you.
Okay.
Ugh, this is annoying. So Golden State could be on their way to a fifth consecutive, or they would be on their way to a fifth consecutive NBA title if it wasn't for our 2016 Cavs. So would you rather the Warriors keep winning championships to make that 16 title even more impressive, or would you rather have that dynasty end right now?
Oh, just ended. I hate them. I've always hated
Yeah,
them.
same.
I continue to hate them. How Kawhi Leonard is going to the NBA Finals and we're not. It's
Yes.
a weird feeling. It's a really weird
weird.
feeling. Oh,
But I like
it just
Kawhi.
makes you
Well, I'm
think. He's
here
good.
for
He's
it.
good. He's great. But it just makes you think of what we could have done with LeBron James and Kyrie Irving.
Yes. Ugh.
Yeah. So, no, I hope the Warriors win nothing. I hope Kawhi Leonard wins. That would be fantastic. I don't see it happening.
And then
but
KD leaves.
he's got to leave. They don't need him.
Yeah.
He's not
Yeah.
even playing in this finals, is he? At least game one? I don't think so.
He's game one. There's no way he plays.
I don't think so. No. So as long as they crumble somehow, I'm good. Whichever way that pans out, as long as they crumble, I'm good.
Me too.
All right, let's get into some bold predictions. All right, so Alec usually comes onto the line here and tells us how he did, but he is either on a plane or a train or something. Wasn't really
Or an
paying
automobile.
attention. Right. So here's our predictions from last week. So I said my wife would go into labor on Tuesday. I was wrong. It was Wednesday.
Mm.
Way
Pretty
off.
close, though.
Yeah, right. Not bad. Chris, you said Trevor Bauer gets 2 wins before our next show. You were, once again, wrong. Only 1 win. Hey, we got a win. Counts for
I was going to say, I
half a
almost
point.
chalked that up as a push. We got a win out of it.
No, you're really grasping at straws, man. What are you? You're 1 in a lot.
I'm going to come back strong this week. I feel good about my prediction.
I love
boy.
that. I
Can't
love that
wait.
your only one prediction that's technically correct was you said that Lindor would hit a grand slam over the weekend.
Wouldn't hit a grand slam.
Oh, wouldn't,
And he
correct.
Yeah, that's right. And he didn't hit a grand slam. I nailed that.
geez.
You
I
really,
could do that all
You
season
really
long.
went out on a limb
I'll just
there.
go Jose Ramirez all day, every day, and I will be killing it.
Oh, yeah. And Bree's prediction was that I would name my baby after a Game of Thrones character. That was actually incorrect. I did not go with Arya. We went
I
with
had a shot.
we went with Winnie.
Really?
I love that, by the way. Love that.
Oh, thank you. Thank you
With
very
the
much.
Wonder Years.
Winnie
Huh?
Cooper?
Winnie
Yeah.
Cooper. Winnie Cooper.
Wow.
That's right.
Oh, very nice. I like the homage.
Yeah, so my prediction this week, I'm going to try to bring some positive energy to the Cleveland Indians. I've been named to their social media influencer program. Just kidding. No, I have not.
Just now.
Just now. I think they are going to win 4 games before our next show.
Wow.
They got Boston.
Our next show is mid-June.
I'm just going to keep rescheduling our show.
Wow. Okay, I like that positivity.
So
I'll take that.
we've got Boston. We're finishing up that series, and then we go to Chicago for a 4-game series. I feel like we can beat them.
Yeah, I do too.
So
Well, and especially,
see.
that usually, knock on wood, gets Kipnis going a little bit whenever he plays in Chicago. And-
right, yeah, Lake Forest kid.
Right. So who knows? Maybe he gets going, and then that gets some of the other losers get on the
Oh,
offense
jeez.
roll. I don't know. I mean, come on. Today was a rough day, Bree.
Very
Yeah.
rough, very rough. All right, Chris, give us a bold prediction.
Okay, bold prediction. There's also a big event being held in Columbus this week. For those of you who don't know, it's called the Memorial, and that's the one that's hosted by
Yeah.
the one and only Jack Nicklaus down here at Muirfield. So I have gone ahead and put out my official prediction for the winner, and that's going to be Matt Kuchar. Matt Kuchar is going to be your Memorial champion
Wow.
this week. Yes, Cooch. We want to see Kuchar win that thing.
I'd
this
like
week.
that. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be a good one. He's a fan favorite.
You totally
And he
screwed
always
him
plays
over, but
well. Huh?
you totally screwed him over. Now there's no chance that he actually wins because of your prediction, but I'll be rooting
This
for
is
him.
also true. I'll be out there Thursday, so anybody who's going to be out there, I will
Nice.
be out there walking and just rooting for Matt Kuchar from hole number 1 to hole number 18. So we will see how he does this week.
I like it. It could come true. You could be 2 in the W column there, Chris.
Bank it. Take
it.
all your money.
Book it.
Go to Vegas now.
Oh,
Book
God.
it. Matt
Bree,
Kuchar.
give us a prediction.
All right. So going out on a limb here, but I think they have a shot. I think the Raptors will take game 1 against the Warriors on Thursday night. It's at home.
Wow.
I know.
All right.
I'll be rooting for him.
I like that. Go Kawhi.
That's right.
Good stuff. And we got out there right at 10 o'clock. Good work, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for tuning in to the Big Play Reflux Show. We will see you next Monday night at 9.
Okay, do you need medical attention?
Yeah.
What is wrong?
I don't know. I ain't no goddamn doctor.
It's my